Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Property Pairings. So glad you're here. This is a knife, but now we're going to have a little bit of a review of movie trivia here. Do you remember the movie Crocodile Dundee? Do you remember the sequel where somebody pulled, when he was in New York and somebody pulled a knife on him and he just laughed and said, "That's not a knife."
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Not a knife? That's a knife. So anyway, this is not about movies, not about movie trivia. This is about cigars and whiskey compared to property. And we're going to do a pairing today, and I am going to bring you something related to that. Yeah, it's not completely unrelated. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a cigar. This is a typical cigar. This is a Robusto. It's about a 50 ring gauge and about 4.5 inches long. This, you good? Let me start again. This is a Corona, and it's about a 42 ring gauge. You can see it's about another inch longer than the Robusto, okay? This is commitment. This is a cigar. It's an 80 ring gauge and 8 inches long, and you can see how they compare to each other. It takes a commitment to want to smoke one of these. This is nuts. And actually, the name of the cigar is a Lunatic. And so I've got this Lunatic cigar, and today we're going to taste it, but I'm going to pair it with a property. And I got to thinking, what property really pairs up with the Lunatic cigar? Then my wife and I went on vacation to New Orleans. Well, it wasn't entirely a vacation. It was in part a business trip because we were looking at some of our flips in Alabama. But then we went to New Orleans and I looked for some property to invest in there like I do everywhere. And now over my shoulder right here, I'm showing you some of the properties that we looked at. And then we started checking in because some of the numbers sounded pretty good. And I, just on the outside in looking at what we could do to rehab, I started checking on it. The city's 300 years old, right? We were in the French Quarter, which is the oldest part of an old city. And all of the buildings are historic, and all of the buildings come laden with layers of bureaucratic guidelines that you have to go through to get your plans approved, and so much so that I just had this idea: you would have to be a lunatic to want to rehab a property in the French Quarter if you really want to make money. Now, that actually goes for all historic properties. If you buy a house that's labeled historic and you want to rehab it, you're in for a long haul. And I don't want to get too far on a rant, but there are people who work in these bureaucracies. They don't have a very good job. They don't get paid a lot of money, but they do get a little bit of power over you rich guys that want to rehab houses. And human nature is what it is, and a little bit of power can go a long way to making that person feel better and more significant about their life. And they tend to exercise that power by making you jump through the tiniest hoops and cross all your T's and dot all your I's and do everything, and then even more, just to make sure that you understand who's really in charge of your project, okay? I say if you want to rehab any historic property or any of those that you just saw in New Orleans, you've got to be a lunatic. Or maybe you're an arrogant bastard. I was wondering what whiskey we were going to pair with this, and I found this, and I love marketers that have a little bit of a sense of humor. I'm going to read to you from the label right here on the front. It's Arrogant Bastard Whiskey, aged in oak barrels for 26 months. And then it says right here, "You're not worthy." I love that. Then you go to the back and you read it, and it says, "Aged in oak barrels for 26 months, subliminally sublime. A didactic, cryptic cipher lost in an autostereogram. Ethereal. Relax, and you just might be able to see it. Stochastic. Tense, and it's gone forever. Urbane. Complex and sophisticated. Complacency is for the weak of mind and spirit." Now, this is a blended whiskey that starts life in Illinois somewhere and then goes to California where it's made. And it comes in at 48.5% alcohol, 97 proof. So it's not among the most powerful, but it is, it's pretty strong. And, it's about average. And so it's going to be fun to try this. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pop the bottle right now and let it start aerating a little bit. There we go. And you may have noticed that we had some a few little tasting notes prior to this, just to make sure the stuff was drinkable. You know, this is the same people that make Arrogant Bastard Ale, and they started this whiskey as a joint project with someone else, and I've read reviews on it. It's kind of hard to find, but you know, like everything else, I'm the Flipping America guy. I'm connected. So let's try a little bit of this bad boy. This is Arrogant Bastard whiskey. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. It's very nice. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, and perhaps you have to have a little bit of arrogance to drink it neat. I don't know. I personally like it, and I'm going to enjoy working my way through this whole bottle in the next couple of hours. No, I'm kidding. The next couple of months. So we've got the whiskey poured, and now let's open up this bad boy and see what's involved. And here we go. The JFR Lunatic. Take the nice ribbon off the end. That's big enough to fit on my ring finger. Yeah. All right. And if you would hand me the ashtray over there, kind sir. All right. Little cut. And a big light. And now the film crew's over there lighting up their cigars. But they don't have Lunatics. Okay. Let's see if we got this baby warm enough. The Lunatic cigar. Yep, it's a little crazy. It's a crazy idea. These things have really taken off. They're very popular. But actually, it's a well-made cigar. And it has, I hear, 8 full leaves of tobacco in it, which supposedly is rare. But you know, it doesn't taste crazy. The only thing about this cigar that's crazy is the size. But it's a good reminder, if you think that you want to rehab a historic house or anything in the French Quarter, think again. If you have a property you want me to pair with the perfect whiskey and cigar, send it to propertypairings@flippingamerica.net. And as always, I'm glad to be at your service.